Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the exclusive screening of Now Hiring, the World's Greatest Industry. My name's Liam, I'm from the B1M, and I'm the Head of Content Partnerships here. Firstly, I'd just like to say thank you all so much for coming tonight, guys. It's great to see such a busy room. And for everyone tuned in at home, wherever you are in the world, thanks for tuning in. Please use the hashtag #OnlineNowHiring. Now, before we get things started tonight, guys, I do need to point out a couple of things, such as the fire exits, which are located at the rear, and we are live streaming, so please be mindful of the cameras and switch your phones to silent. All right. We have a very exciting agenda lined up for you guys. Shortly, we're going to be screening the documentary. Now, this is going to be followed by a panel discussion on stage with a Q&A. Then we're going to make our way back out to the bar for more drinks and networking. But before that, we're going to be inviting our first speaker up onto stage. Now, most of you are probably very familiar with this man. He's quite a big person in the construction sector. For those of you who don't know him, he's often been referred to as the David Attenborough of construction, and more recently, my favourite one, the Justin Bieber of the construction industry. Of course, I'm talking about Fred Mills, the co-founder of the B1M. Fred's going to come up here, chat to you a little bit about the B1M, what we do and why we do it, and a little bit more about tonight. So please join me in a big round of applause and welcome Fred to the stage.
Evening, everyone. How are we all doing? Come on, it's Friday tomorrow. How are we all doing? Woo! Lower your expectations. Thanks for that introduction, Liam. Liam's got the hashtag right, so there's nothing else that can really go wrong this evening, which is good. We're over the difficult bit. Thank you so many of you for coming. It's great to be here in a bit more of an intimate venue than we normally do. Certainly a bit more relaxing when I'm still up here, mostly because I can't see you, no offence. That's good for the nerves. And thank you to everyone that's tuned in online around the world as well. We really appreciate you making the time to be with us. The incredible people in this room shape our world. You guys work in a phenomenal industry that shapes the lives of every child, every adult, every elderly person in every corner of this planet. The problem we have is that most people out there in the busy King's Cross part of London, in this massive city on this ever noisier planet, don't know about the work that we do. They don't know about the construction sector when they come to decide what they want to do in life and what career they want to choose. They don't see it as we see it. They don't see the incredible people, the latest technology, the decisions being made that shape not just our cities, but our homes, the impact that we can have on climate change, and the power that we possess to help turn that tide. That is why we do what we do at the B1M, to show the whole world how incredible this industry is, to fundamentally change the perception of construction on planet Earth, to take this industry's best and most compelling stories out from trade shows and trade magazines that people have to opt into, and instead place them on platforms that billions of people check every day. Now, my mission in life is a very simple one. I love construction, and I want the whole world to love it too. We're never going to attract the best talent to this industry if our society doesn't know about our sector, if they don't then come to really love our sector. Now, as a result of the B1M's impact to date, we have the ability to talk to millions of people about the incredible work that we do in this industry. We now have the ability to reach millions of young people and to show them how great our sector is and what a career here could really mean. Tonight is a real landmark moment for us. We're working with a major software brand to show just how great this industry is to the whole world and to highlight some of the incredible young people who've chosen to come and build their careers in this sector, to come and change the world through construction over other types of job role that are out there. They're not going to be Instagram influencers or any of those kind of things, which is really, really rewarding. I'm incredibly proud of where this has come to, literally from an idea that I had in my spare room to the world's largest and most subscribed to video channel for construction, with over 9 million viewers every month. Partnering with global brands, traveling the world and seeing the incredible impact of the work that we're doing on countless different people in countless different countries and circumstances, being continually blown away by the incredible people who've chosen to build their careers in a company that I started. I'm not just saying that, guys. All behind a consistent vision, a single mission vision that unites, guides, and drives every single thing that we do and that we believe in. We love construction, and we want the whole world to love it too.
Look at these constructions, touching and moulding our lives. To work here is to shape, to influence, to impact. To work here is to make a difference. To work here is to embrace the cutting edge every day. To work here is to innovate, to imagine, to dream, to solve, to make it happen. This is a sector that doesn't shout about itself, that isn't good at celebrating what it does, that many of the talented and best young people don't even notice. This is what happens when you share knowledge, expertise, and best practice with a mass audience in the world's most important industry. This is what happens when you show construction at its best to millions. This is what happens when you stop telling and start compelling. This is what happens when you stop boring and start engaging. This is what happens when you show people how great construction really is and what it can be. This is the B1M.
So, ladies and gents, without further ado, it's time to meet that global software brand that I told you about. Please give a very warm hand for James Chambers from Bluebeam.
I navigated the stairs in the dark. That's an amazing start. All right. Thank you, Fred. Thank you, as ever, for the B1M's participation and help. We at Bluebeam have a very similar philosophy. We really want to help shape this industry. We want to bring a solution to everybody that enables and facilitates putting the right information in the hands of the right people at the right time, and having a standardized way of enabling everybody to be involved in every asset and facet of the construction phases of a project. It's certainly what got me started in it many, many years ago. It's so wonderful to see so many people here from education, from industry, students, all the way through to professors and folks that are building things every day. So, yeah, my journey started a long time ago. It's what got me compelled to be in the engineering field. There's nothing more satisfying and gratifying to drive down a place or walk down a place and see something that you maybe had a hand in building or designing, and something tangible that's going to be on a landscape for quite a while and futures to come. It's quite sad, me and my wife are both engineers, so it's what compelled us both. You can imagine the conversations we have at night. But again, I think what's, again, compelling about what Fred said is we do a really bad job of just promoting and advertising how amazing this industry is, and again, having an impact on the built environment and how people live and interact with the world we live in. So really, again, I hope this acts as a massive lesson and a great promotion and a start to continue the fine work that everybody's doing, really enthuse and educate everybody to get into this amazing industry. And we certainly want to back promoting it as much as possible. So that being said, for those that don't know Bluebeam, there's a quick video here to tell you a little bit about what we do.
There are times when a product or a process may change your entire approach to things. Bluebeam has been one of those products for us.
It makes us more efficient, faster, it makes us more accurate.
And it's really put us at the forefront of our competition.
We've been using Review for over 10 years. We had this epiphany moment where we realized we could no longer stay with sort of paper world. Review was purposely made for our type of business, and we were able to take that very intuitive software and get ahead of the game.
I think we have had Bluebeam for 6 years now. Absolutely, for the company it's good that we become more efficient, we can, bring in more money, but I think it's the people thing I think most about. You want to have world-class tools to world-class people, and I have world-class people here in Skanska.
The first time I saw that there was an opportunity for Bluebeam to really change somebody's life was when I learned that there were a couple of project assistants that were spending 8 to 12 hours splitting apart PDFs, and I had just sat through a Bluebeam training and I learned about AutoMark. Sat down with those ladies and we walked through it and got it done in, I think, 25 minutes. And I just remember sitting there and looking at those two, and they were just kind of like, where has this been my entire life? This has been the last 20 years of my life.
Everyone has access to PDF and everyone can understand. So it's a common tool across the whole of the industry. And it allows us to design and engineer and construct in a different way, in ways that we haven't thought of yet.
Review's allowing us to do all of that stuff and bringing the industry as a whole together and allowing us to push the limits further.
If you get a new hire and you have Bluebeam loaded on their machine, they're never going to want to go to another program.
It's not just about technology, it's the technology that supports human interaction.
I sometimes ask them what happens if I take Bluebeam away from you. They don't like that question at all.
We don't like that question either, so it's good that she agrees.
James, thanks so much for being here this evening. Really appreciate it. It's great to see you again. And good to share a stage with you as always.
Again, multiple times. It's become a repetitive thing for us.
I know there isn't kind of global demand for us to share a stage more often. Maybe that's because it's rubbish, but
I even bought the same jacket just to, you know.
I can tell. Not that I've memorised what you're wearing. That's really weird. Well, thank you for working with us on this film. It's a privilege to get to take the construction industry and show the masses how great it is.
Yeah, I can't say it enough. It's such an amazing industry, and you get to be so impactful on things. And there's now more than ever a demand to be in this industry. Not only is there amazing technologies and AR and OR and BIM and models and all these other great things, but I think the world we live in right now is demanding something like this with population and, as you said, climate change. So you can be more impactful in this industry now more than ever.
Yeah, I think as you can see in the film, that there are a lot of challenges facing our world. I'm sure if we flick on the news, we see many of them. But at the same time, we've got a young generation and population now that really care about making the world better, and the place to do that is construction. So to get to package this up and to share it with the world on a stellar YouTube channel is phenomenal. Thanks for working with us. We really appreciate it. So without further ado, I think we've probably overhyped it enough. Yeah. Hopefully it's not complete rubbish now you've seen it. No. But we'll share it with the world, shall we?
Well, they have popcorn.
Exactly. Ladies and gents, grab your popcorn, grab your blankets, sit back, relax, and take in the world's greatest industry.
Most of us will spend the majority of our adult lives at work. To do something truly fulfilling that goes far beyond paying the bills to positively touching the lives of others is a goal that many strive for. Construction is the primary way that human beings impact this planet. From the spaces that we call home and the environments where our children develop, to our hospitals, the places where we work, the roads, railway lines and airports that enable our travel, the infrastructure that generates our energy, and our vast cities, our society simply could not function without this industry. The importance of construction at this moment in time cannot be overstated. Despite centuries of progress, several factors have brought our world to a critical juncture. The global population is larger than it has ever been, and is now rising faster than at any time before. More than half of us now live in cities, and millions more are migrating into urban areas. Several nations are grappling with housing crises, and cannot construct homes for their people fast enough. Our climate is changing, and our buildings now account for 40% of all greenhouse gas emissions. More than any other sector, construction has the ability to overcome these challenges and make a positive difference. The people who choose to work in this industry have immense influence over the shape of the world that billions of us experience every day. Almost every other job role is enabled by construction, and while those job roles may be impactful in their own right, the work of the building industry lasts for generations and touches more of the population than any other. At a time when our world faces such challenges, and with a socially conscious young generation who value our planet and the direction of society arguably more than any other before them, a new wave of young people around the world are now choosing to build their careers in construction.
I wanted my profession to be something that motivates me and inspires me daily. After some consideration, I decided that construction is the point where I can be useful and develop my skills, the ones that I feel like are the greatest asset of mine.
Engineering is not an easy job and it's really hard work, but at the end it really pays off. One of the best jobs is to inspire the next generation of engineers, because we do need the talents to work in the industry.
So here at KIA School of Design and Technology, we give them all the tools and all the teaching so they are ready for their own future. I have more or less 20 years of experience, so I like to put it in the head of the students so they can go out and conquer the world with the new buildings and new technology.
What attracted me to working in the industry was to take charge of some great projects, not just working on it, but actually taking charge of it. Definitely get a chance to do it here with this education.
Now I'm doing my MSc in Construction Economics and Management at UCL, and before that I graduated my first class B.Eng in Civil Engineering at London South Bank University.
It is very important for us to invest the time and resources in training up future engineers, because we need a lot more engineers to tackle the future challenges. One of the big ones is climate change, which is becoming a global issue now. So we do need to work together and tackle this problem.
People often say that construction is a man's world, but I believe that it's a world of possibilities, so anyone can have access to it. And I hope that I will inspire others to perceive a route that it's not so obvious at first.
I think women and men are definitely equal, because we have to use the computers, and not about strength. It has to be about smartness and technology, and there we are definitely equal. A lot of women should try this education. Yeah.
Since I started my studies in engineering, I knew that project management is what is really like my passion, because I believe that the skills that I have and I believe to be my strongest ones are the ones that I can develop and use to be, successful in what I'm doing.
Throughout their development, Nia and Thomas have been supported with access to Bluebeam technology, made available under the Bluebeam academic programme. In an industry currently being disrupted by technology, with many workflows becoming digital and with project teams sometimes widely spread across different geographic locations, the need for new talent to have a high level of digital literacy is critical, and investments like this are key. But the next generation have grown up immersed in technology, and in many cases access to Bluebeam has had a greater impact, catalysing and giving oxygen to their talent, helping them achieve more and develop broader skills. For all of the technology now coming into use, construction relies on people and the communication and collaboration between them in order to succeed. Using Bluebeam at such a formative time has developed collaboration skills within these young people.
We do need to embrace technology in this engineering industry, and that way it will help collaboration between different partners. We work with architects, we work with M&E engineers, we work with planners, etc. And that will really help us to improve communications between all aspects.
There is a lot of opportunities in that Bluebeam program that we use. That's why it's one of the programs that the students should have, because that's what we're using out in the industry.
While both Nia, Thomas and the mentors who support them are strong examples of young people coming into the world's greatest industry, they are in a minority, and more needs to be done to attract talent in our ever noisier world. To a large extent, the construction sector has not shouted about its successes, while mistakes, delays or cost overruns often lead the news. Many people misunderstand this broad sector and have different preconceptions of what it means to work here. The issue has become compounded with the rise of social media, 24-hour news, and the increasingly media-rich environments surrounding us that construction has failed to compete in. The solutions can be found amongst these challenges. The issues facing our world, combined with a socially conscious young generation, the rise of cutting-edge technologies, and many mediums through which to broadcast to millions, creates the perfect list of ingredients for fundamentally changing the perception of construction on this planet. By showing an already concerned young generation and their parents and influencers the true nature and power of construction, we can start to shift the way this sector is seen, attracting more talent. The result will be the very best people making decisions that affect us all, that shape our cities, plan our homes, and design the environments that our children will spend their formative years in.
Well, I hope to set an example that it doesn't matter where you come from, who you are, it's just important what you want to do and if you're good at it. And I hope that people seeing that a lady can be in this construction sector can motivate them to pursue paths that are not so obvious at first. You should do what you're passionate about. It doesn't matter what it is.
It's been great. I think I learn something new every day. My biggest hope in this industry is to build in green, definitely. Different materials and how to combine them and how to create something out of those materials and ideas. We are too bad to using our resource too quickly, so I think it's a good way to start building green and reuse our things. Yeah.
Construction is really a world of possibilities. Wherever you go around the world, the language of construction is one and the same, so you can go, explore, develop, and hopefully shape the future the way you want to, and to bring importance the way you want to.
So, in our overwhelming, noisy world, don't be told that you are less than you are. Don't be told that your skills are needed in industries that perpetuate our challenges. Don't waste your potential. Be known for having made a difference. Be celebrated for your positive impact. Be proud of your remarkable achievements. Be awed by your own creations every day. Be surprised by what you are capable of. Be a part of construction.
So there you go, guys. The first first UK screening of Now Hiring, the World's Greatest Industry. I am really proud of that video. I'm really proud that it's going to be out there with the world now. It's not just a video title. It's not just a slogan or an event title. It's serious. This is the world's greatest industry, and it is now looking for the best people. We don't want the best people to go into banking or politics or law or other proper jobs, as they're so called. We want them to come into this sector. We want them to make a difference and to really change the world that we live in, because that is what this industry enables you to do. Right now, we're going to get a bit more into the issues, and we're going to have a panel discussion talking about some of the opportunities and challenges around this subject area. So I believe we're going to get some chairs on stage shortly. Isn't happening as I'm standing here. Wonderful. I'm supposed to be filling, you see, while they're putting chairs behind me. The art of the fill. Fantastic. I'm not doing a very good job of filling at all. I'm just staring at them. Thanks, guys. Well, a round of applause for the chair guys, everyone. Come on, right. Woo! They got there in the end. Thanks. So I'm going to invite our panellists up onto stage now. So I'm very proud that we've got representatives from kind of the 4 key areas of this. So if panellists, if you'd like to come and join us, that would be fantastic. Now, we are going to throw this open to the audience as well, guys. So we want your questions. Do get thinking of some questions that you would like to ask. If you are not feeling brave enough to ask them here in this room, then you can ask them online via the hashtag #NowHiring on all the different social media networks, or on the YouTube live stream comments as well if you are watching remotely. So I'm very proud this evening. We've got 4 parts of this this challenge represented. We've got David Milne from BAM. Thanks for being with us, David. Very much representing one of the major employers in the industry. And to give you an example of how great this industry is, David's company is currently working on a project in Antarctica. In Antarctica, which is absolutely phenomenal. And there's a good documentary on that as well, which happens to be on our YouTube channel. Shameless plug. Next, we have Bo Mass from Kia in Copenhagen. He's travelled over from Copenhagen representing academia. Nia Borishova, who is representing the student side. Nia, you may recognise as one of the stars of the film you just watched. And also Emily Heppard, who has travelled the furthest from Chicago, representing technology and representing Bluebeam. So guys, thank you so much for being with us. It's fantastic to have an employer, an educator, a student and a technology firm all represented. Hopefully we should get some very good depthy answers. We're going to throw it open to the room in a moment, but first of all I just want to get your impression, guys. Having watched that film, what's your first take on it, David?
Hello. It's interesting. I really like the focus on diversity and trying to attract women in construction, because it's clearly an under-tapped pool. I know that within our organisation we have been focusing on making the pool of people that we're attracting to the industry, and therefore having greater opportunity to attract more talent. And we've managed to get 33% up from 20% females into the company. So I think diversity is really, really important.
Fantastic. Bye.
Yes. It was very proud to be among the people who was in the movie here. We are very proud as an educator to educate people, young people, get them in, so people as him can hire them, because that's what we do. We are at the School of Copenhagen of Design and Technology, and we managed to educate people in construction management and architecture technology. And what we put in their heads, as I try to tell at the movie, is all the team we have behind, with many, many years of experience with engineering, architects, and a lot of other people in communication, because that's very, very important. So we put a lot of effort to put all those ingredients in the heads of the students, so they can conquer the world and be the next employer in all the where they're going to be. Also, we are in diversion as well as the old kind of world, because we are only about 16% of in the education is women. So we are trying to do some effort to tell that it's more or less not best, but it could be that women are taking the education, so we can get some
absolutely
good effort for that too.
Absolutely. Nia?
Well, I think the video is extremely inspiring, and maybe if there were videos like this when I was picking my education, it would have been much easier. So I really hope it will reach as much people as possible, and the construction industry itself will do more in order to promote itself, and not hear only about the negative stuff, but all the beautiful stuff that happened because of the people in this room and outside of it.
And I think that one of my favorite parts of this film were not only first the perspectives shared by Bo and by Nia and Thomas and Simon, but that focus on those major global challenges that are facing us, in the coming decades. Population density and climate change, and all of the reasons that we need so many more talented young people joining this industry. And so that is, again, incredibly inspiring to watch, and we love the B1M for being able to share on such a wide scale messages like this one.
Oh, thank you so much. No, I completely agree. It's that, we often see these things on the news. We see the housing crisis, we see the population crises, we see the effects of climate change, and we feel like we are a bit helpless, or that if we're in construction, it doesn't really affect us. this is the industry that I think can really change it and have a difference. So there is a way to go to work every day and not just earn great money, but actually make a difference in the world. And as the video says, be able to go around cities and say, I built that, I made a difference, I'm shaping people's lives. There's absolutely no better feeling. Staying with you, Emily, there's obviously a big challenge because a lot of young people, the fact of it is, aren't coming into this industry. They are going into what educators sometimes term as the proper jobs, banking, politics, law, or goodness help us, YouTubers. How do we attract people to this industry? What more can we do to attract young people to this industry, in your opinion?
I think, kind of going back to what I was, saying I loved about this video, is that in some ways we can work backwards to say that if you are passionate about solving our climate emergency, if you are passionate about creating spaces for people of different abilities, if you are passionate about creating healthcare spaces that promote and facilitate healing and recovery rather than detract from them, if those are the issues that you are passionate about, then there is a place for you in construction. And if we are specifically talking about process and we're specifically talking about tools all the time and missing those broader outcomes that are a result of building and designers and all of the different people that go into building our world, then we're missing that large population that maybe are joining other sectors because they think that they are going to impact social and environmental change only through those channels. But that's where I think we can do better, is we can step back and look at those broader issues.
Definitely, and connect people with the big picture more. Actually, what your work you're doing does have a bigger global impact. I mean, David, you work for one of the biggest contractors in the UK, if not the world probably. You have some phenomenal people working in your organisation, some phenomenal talent coming through. What do you think can be done as an employer to attract more people into this sector?
Well, Emily, the way that you present the proposition of working in the industry is really, you sign me up. I think changing the tack, I think people that, there might be a traditional way of engaging with schools, and I think we do need to focus on how we do that and how we can do that so that we are a bit more inspirational, other than going in there and doing a presentation of, oh, this is my career and, I've had a great time, So we do focus a lot on working with schools, but rethinking how we do that. And I think technology and the change that's going on in the industry is making it such a more interesting place to be. So,
absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Bo, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, as a Institute of Education, we're doing a lot of things thinking forward because the industry is going so fast, because it's about time and money and the clients and everything else like that. But we need to put in their heads, like Emily says, it's about sustainability, it's about circular construction. So we're thinking about a building can be used for 100 years instead of just 30 years. So what we're going to do in 100 years, can we split it apart again and use all the materials elsewhere instead of just dump them down as waste. So not downcycle them to use in another place, to another things that could not be used as well as in a building. So we're trying to upcycle them. So we're doing a lot of our programs, doing a lot of education about sustainability, learning how to analyzing how to use the materials. We have a lot of LCA, if you know about that, it's about the life cost of cycle cost, and we're trying to make them understand that there is a value, just not using the best material just right on the shell of where you buy it, but you can just see if there is any else materials that can be used and longer learn time. So we're doing a lot of those things to put in the heads. So because the industry is going so fast, as you see, it's just around this year there's many buildings being used, and there's a lot of iron being used, and we can just say, oh, why don't you use tree? Why don't you use wood? Because that's the one item of a lot of materials that reduce the CO2 under Earth's climate, because it's the less CO2, pollutant area, where iron is a lot of more. But it's the industry. We need to be, it's gonna take a while that the industry have to adjust, because it's about time and money.
Completely agree, yeah. I mean, Nia, you touched on it in the video, but what attracted you to work in construction?
To be honest, firstly, when I was deciding what I want to do, I didn't know if like I'm gonna go there. I wanted to study law, like mainstream, strict, you know. And then I said to myself, like, yes, but I'm not passionate about it. I can't make a change out of it. There's what influence then I'm gonna bring, and how am I gonna inspire myself to do it. And my mother told me, you know, like, it's good to have a profession. So I started thinking in that direction, and that's when it hit me, like, you know, a profession. Why not engineering? You're good with maths, although it's not only maths. You want to make a change, you can do it by construction. And when I entered my degree, I didn't know where I'm going, what I'm going to do there. And once I started understanding how the industry is based and what it offers to you and what you can offer to the industry itself, that's when I understood that this is my sector and that it's very inspiring and that you can shape the future out of it.
Phenomenal. What an inspirational comment for anyone, any young person watching, trying to decide what they want to do. Do we have any questions from the audience now? Would anyone like to ask a question? You can ask us an easy question. If you have a hard question, oh, goodness me.
I'm running.
We have a mic runner, James Chambers.
And I'm surprised nobody said because I can fly drones for a living. I mean, come on. Come on.
Thank you. That was a really great video, and I'm happy to see you and also hear your comments. As someone who is looking to go into the construction industry, do you think I would ever be replaced by AI in 40 years' time?
Great question.
I hope not, and I would be unemployed. But anyhow, I don't think so. But we need to get together to do it, because I think a lot of people are using those new materials in another way, but they cannot see what is best for the environment, what you're living in. I know there's a lot of intelligence in it, but I don't think it's gonna be due by men, it's gonna be due by women before we can go there. So I know we have seen the science fiction film, but I just read today that Star Wars was way far, because they're already thinking about those things they're doing with high speed of something out in the space. But anyhow, it's more like we don't think about that, because there need to be men about, there need to be somebody to put that in the head of the machines.
And I would love to add to that as well, because we just had at our user conference, the Bluebeam Extreme conference, a wonderful research presentation by a PhD student from the University of Kansas who's talking specifically about technology integrating into the field and where does that leave people, human beings, as technology has a larger and larger role in the industry. And what he found and what he predicts is that soft skills are going to become the indispensable part of the construction industry that humans will contribute, because AI is a long way off. It will probably get there, but it doesn't have the sensitivity and the nuances that humans bring to project teams and to projects themselves. And so I wouldn't worry about it just yet.
David, I want to ask you, contractor, surely it's just easier to send robots to Antarctica, isn't it? That's what we should be doing.
If they were good enough, I guess, we probably would. I guess, is AI going to replace you? I guess it depends what you're going to be doing. But the concept of professions, I think, is kind of changing. People might go into a career and you're not necessarily a civil engineer for life, or a structural engineer for life. I kind of think that I've had 3 careers within construction. The social aspect, I've not done PhD research, but I just know, anecdotally, I know within our business, I was looking at some data the other day at work, and I was astonished at how many people we have in the business that are really focused on social roles, people roles within the business. It's clearly, the more that technology and AI takes over certain functions, the more that we get to focus on the people side of things, and that's really interesting.
We did have another question from up here. Is that okay?
Away.
Hi there. Great video, very inspiring, and it was great to see promoting diversity and addressing the key issues, as you've mentioned there, about property density, environment and such. I work in the education sector. We're in the further education sector, and we promote trying to encourage young people to look at industry of construction. One of the things we find is that people don't understand construction. It's too nebulous for them. Something like this video would inspire people. So I don't know if you're aware that at the moment the UK are hosting the World Skills in Birmingham. This would have been great to show to aspirant people, young women, to say, look, this is an industry you may want to consider. We're not just looking for practitioners, we're looking at those other skills which could encourage them. So if you could get that out there, and the fact that I'm so close to Fred Mills, wow, thank you.
Never meet your idols, mate. It's always disappointing. No, thank you. That's great for us as B1M. That's fantastic feedback. Thank you so much. And that's really the whole idea of what we're trying to do. It's, recognise that young people don't go to careers fairs. They don't go to the kind of dry construction magazines, and they certainly don't listen to the old civil engineer that does a talk at school. They're using Instagram. They're using YouTube. They're using social media. So keep trying to talk their language, trying to show this industry in an incredible way is absolutely what I've kind of dedicated my mission to and what we've dedicated the business to as well. So that's absolutely what it's all about, and it's fantastic to have your support. Thanks. Anyone else want to add to that? Anyone disagree with me?
We definitely need to get the message out there, but I can't imagine that anybody of school age is going to be searching for the B1M on YouTube. And I do often hear people say, oh, why isn't the business doing this? Why isn't the business doing that? But we are the business, we are the industry. It's up to all of us to, to get the message out there and to share these videos and to have conversations with people and let them know that construction, any preconceptions you have, it's not true. My wife is a physics teacher, so when I was discussing doing this, I asked her to ask her children what they thought of construction. And it, as you might expect, it was very classical. It was muddy boots and building and very hands-on. And, although there are, all of those still exist, they are still very narrow in their understanding of what the potential is of a career in the industry.
So,
I'd like to add a little bit to that, because the thing is that all our children, now we're talking about children, they got the iPad. They're living with the phone. Even they are 3 years old, they know how to navigate it. And if you go back when I was 3 years old, we were out playing with the stick almost. And the computer was a Commodore 64. But the thing is that it's going so fast, so they know how it is, so they don't think if it's going to be or it's going to be normal. This is more or less that we are scared about it, I think, because they're more or less being in it when it's digitalizing and everything else. They're talking about it. I got one she's 10, Snapchat. What is that? I think and I got one is 3. Netflix, and next time it's gonna be the B1M. The B1M.
The B1M. It's the B1M.
But the thing is, they have it right there in front of them, but it's what we give them all the time. So I don't think. I think the kids is more or less like. I also want to tell that they're putting a Lego in, and what the fantasy comes about Lego playing with that. And there was a former carpenter in a little town in Denmark who had invented those little bricks back in the 60s. So he was just thinking about we need to do some new things. And he did. And now Lego is one of the most biggest brand in the whole world because it's the kids who's using it. And we can even remember it when we were kids.
Absolutely. I still do, by the way. But yeah, far away.
Yeah, we have another question.
Hi, Fred. My name's Marcus, and I'm actually studying at the Bartlett School of Planning and Architecture just around the corner. And my question's about brain power. So I come from an interesting perspective. My stepfather worked in construction. My father worked in finance. And all of my friends that went to university, they wanted to, the ones that got the best grades, they wanted to go into computer science or into banking or into the sciences themselves. And not many of them were so interested about going into construction like all of my smartest friends. So how would you attract the smartest minds into this field that you love so much?
That's a great question. That's a difficult question as well. Thank you for that. I think for a long time, the industry has promoted itself through those things I spoke about, through careers events, through magazines, or through sending people sporadically into schools every now and then. Or we've done these kind of painful social media campaigns, which are, did you know you could have a career in construction? Here are 6 different job roles you could do. And you know, we're competing in an incredibly noisy, busy world. We need to put impressive stuff on people's social media news feeds that makes them stop and go, wow, look at that. Not construction, not framing it as architecture, engineering, anything like that, but just showing the incredible stuff that we do and the impact it has on our planet. I think, as we touched on in the film, we have a very socially conscious young generation these days who they don't just want to earn money. That's not the goal. That earn money is kind of a hygiene factor. It's the minimum. They want to make a difference in the world. And I think if we can connect those high-flying people who inherently want to go and change the world, whether through politics or banking or finance, or some of those people just want to make a load of money, to recognise that actually this industry is where you can have the biggest fundamental difference on the world we live in. From climate change to the shape of societies, the shape of cities, the way people are healing in hospitals, how our kids are formed. That's so much more incredible stuff. And the benefit as well is I think it pays pretty well as an industry. So that needs to be spoken about more as well. It's not easy. The RICS, Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors in the UK, describe it as a war for talent, and it is absolutely a war for talent. You know, these people have got influences, their parents, their teachers saying to them, you know, you're not going to go into construction. What on earth are you thinking? You need to go and do a proper job. And that's what we're up against. So I think there's a lot more to do and a lot further to go. Interested to hear what the rest of the panel think of that as well. I'm obviously answering it through B1M eyes. But
just to add a comment to that perspective, because people thinking about the talent. But what gives you the talent? It gives the talent that you are curious, you are passionate. Not even that you're the best mathematics or the best reader, but if you are the best one who is in your mind, reaching out to the best industry, and is this in construction, you can be the best in the construction or in the industry. So it's more or less that the talent comes if you are passionate or you are curious about what's going to happen, how it's going to come off from the earth. That's how it's going to be. It's not that you have to be very good at from birth.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And I'm going to add to that as well that, of course, I'm biased, but I feel that technology plays a major role in attracting talent to the industry, because if we continually put the same images in front of people of muddy boots, of, you know, people working knee-deep in cement, or, you know, images that maybe are not typical of every role in the construction industry, and instead we show them augmented virtual reality, and we show them drones, and we show them incredibly smart people like Nia and Thomas and those who are entering the industry and really, you know, bringing a completely new dynamic and a new perspective. That's where I think we will be able to compete with those industries that are typically just siphoning talent, you know, from universities and from high schools and technical colleges and all over. So, Nia, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I'm conscious we're talking about Nia's age group, but none of us are from that age group. So, Nia, what do you think?
I think the most important thing that would attract mostly people is the complexity of the industry, because it doesn't offer you just one background, like just accounting, just numbers. It gives you all of it. And if you're interested into being able to divert inside the industry and to find your own path in order to get to your final destination, it doesn't matter if it's money or if it's power or if it's influence or if it's impact. If you like the complexity of the industry, that's what should be promoted and should inspire you.
Fantastic. Do we have our next question?
We do.
Yeah, hi. Maybe the solution lies within TV shows and films. To be honest, the only construction TV show that I is Bob the Builder. Right? Where
great show.
Whereas in terms of, like, say, doctors, there's the OR, there's Grey's Anatomy. In terms of law, there's Suits. So maybe the solution lies within films and TV. No.
Definitely. I mean, there's other programs like people doing self-builds and stuff, but it's often individuals who've put their life savings into an extension that's gone wrong and they're living in a caravan and all that. You know, it's great TV, but it's not really showcasing the best of this industry. If anyone is watching on the live stream from Netflix, my number will be on the bottom of the screen afterwards, so if you'd like to commission me for a Netflix series. Just give me a ring.
I think Donna the drone flyer is the next one.
What do you think, guys?
You mentioned Thomas, and Thomas couldn't be here today because his final is next week, so he's pretty busy. But upon that, he is graduated from 9th grade, and then he became a carpenter. And now he's about 32, and he discovered that he wants something new, and he wants to be in the industry, otherwise. So in that term, he's been growing and backwards, educating afterwards. So that's how we do it. That's how we can do it in Denmark. More or less, if you look at that, so you can retrain people to do something else, and then they can come in and with all the experience they have, being on the cement or doing timber work or something like that, and then they can communicate with those he just have been working with, because he have a lot of other skills now, because it's about planning, it's about drawing, it's about technology, about using the software like Bluebeam or other software. We're trying to give the students as well. So, but he's there. He's not in a suit. He's right there. He got a tattoo on his arm. But he's a human, and he is passionate, and he's want to do it. And as he said, he wants to build green because you see the environment is going down, and he got kids too. So we wanted to do the best thing for our kids, so we are in the same positions as we are now.
Absolutely, and I just want to say I love that idea, and Bluebeam's headquarters are right outside LA, so maybe let's get this into production.
Hollywood.
But you're right. Popular culture absolutely impacts the way that people select careers, even if it's subconsciously. Maybe they're choosing the medical field because they watch Grey's Anatomy, I mean, God forbid. But that is a really important, way to influence culture and influence perception, so I love it.
Fantastic. Now, next question.
Hi, so I love how proactive you got the construction industry seems to be in hiring more women, being more diverse. What is it, though, doing to be not only more diverse in gender, but among race? Because people of color have been left out of industries, not only like medical, lawyers, but like also construction. So what are you guys doing to be more proactive in being not only diverse among male and females, but being diverse in race?
So I don't know. I couldn't, because my role isn't specifically in this kind of recruitment field. I don't necessarily know exactly what we might be doing. What I do know is that we're trying to increase the pool of people that we can recruit from. We are actively trying to identify barriers of different people getting into the organisation and looking how we can remove them. So agile working, for instance, is something that we're really focused on to give people flexibility to suit their lifestyles. But yeah, I'm probably not versed enough on any specific challenges that might be affecting that cohort.
It's an important point, though, because I think there is a lot of work done on the gender diversity point, but the race diversity is often forgotten. And I think on all diversity, there is a much further way to go in construction. Much more needs to be done.
I absolutely agree with you, and we need to do better. And we're not doing a good job at that right now. And so the key aspect, I think, of promoting and encouraging and empowering more people from many, many different populations and many identities is representation. It's being able to see, a wide variety of faces and wide variety of identities, whether that's across gender, race, nationality, all sorts of factors of diversity, to be able to help people understand that there's a place for everyone in construction, and we will never close our skills gap if we don't reach out to underrepresented populations. So thank you for asking that question. It's a very important one, and it's a constant call that we need to do better.
Hi, my name is Ivana, and I'm an architect and a BIM manager, and I work in the construction industry nowadays. I wanted to ask you, I think it's so great that everyone here has this passion for construction and sees a lot of space for improvement, and you're thinking about the future of it. But a big concern coming from my side is that construction is the least digitalized, one of the least digitalized industries. So I think that in the future, construction might have even bigger problem when it comes to recruiting talent, because the new generations will be so different when it comes to that field. So my question is, Fred, can you use this great channel that you have to impact not just people that you want to recruit, but employers to make a change? Because I think on day-to-day basis, construction actually is mud and boots, and it's sticky notes, and it's all of these things that that's what you see, you know, on day-to-day basis. And you have a voice, you know, you have this channel which can reach so many people. Can you use it to impact employers and say, you know, are you changing? Are you ready to make a change? Because that's so important for your future. And maybe show them all of these things that you can see on day-to-day basis, and you know, kind of explain what would be the perception of those things in the eyes of future generations who will come to there. Because you'll attract the talent. I think you'll, you know, like if you work on it, you'll be able to attract the talent, but you want to keep them as well.
The straightforward answer to that question is yes, of course we can, of course we will. I think we've done, I mean, obviously you need to judge this for yourselves, I'm terribly biased, but I think the B1M has done a lot in terms of promoting technology in the industry globally. If you look at where we came from originally, through the work we've done to promote digital construction and technology and tech trends, I can say all that. The fact is the industry isn't digitalised. So we've got more to do as B1M. We do have a voice and we need to use it responsibly, and it's something we will continue to do. If I'm conscious of anything, it's, you know, our mission is to fundamentally change the perception of construction on planet Earth. B1M's great. We've got loads of traction. We've got loads of momentum supported by incredible people like yourselves, but we are scratching the surface and we've got a long way to go. And my life goal is to hit that. I'm not bluffing when I say I want to change the perception of this industry. And embracing technology is a key part of that.
Digitalization, but also conditions that you face. Conditions on site, you know, like simple things like toilets, like clean environment, like space where people want to be. So it's just like a whole picture, not just digitalization.
Completely. I mean, just on that point, I think probably David's best place to answer that. Some of the BAM site setups are phenomenal.
Yeah, that is absolutely a focus. I mean, I know conditions that I've seen in the past where the ladies' toilet was a storeroom, and it's just not acceptable. And we're definitely doing a lot to change that. In terms of being the least digitalized and thinking about people coming into the industry, I think that's a massive, massive opportunity for this next generation, because you tend to come with a certain understanding, having lived around digital all of your lives and having a different way of looking at things, that this is your opportunity to change the industry and to grow with that change. And I think there's potential for really quick career progression because of that.
Just ask Emily from the technology perspective as well, because this is a question for you.
Again, yes, I'm very biased. So we need to have more representation of that digitalized construction process. But it's absolutely, you know, a fundamental mentality shift. Many, I think actually, and I should check the statistic, but I believe that at least in the United States, the majority of construction companies are small and medium-sized businesses. Typically, they are not or do not have the resources to adapt to technological changes at the rate that major multinational firms would. And so I think that's why it's so important to be able to have messages like the ones that are shared by the B1M. And we also do a lot as a company, as Bluebeam. We have a blog, we produce a lot of video content, just showing different ways to work and showing different environments. And you make an excellent point about conditions on the site, and are those conditions, you know, inclusive of all of the people who work on the site? And actually, I'd love to hear Nia's perspective too on helping make those job sites more inclusive from a gender perspective in particular, which you mentioned. But I think that technology is so integral to our progress as an industry. We cannot survive without it, because there's so much research to suggest that the demand will continue to outpace the supply for, you know, human capital, for all of the resources that we need to meet these demands that are coming in the coming decades. And so integrating technology and integrating those efficiencies, those automation pieces that help make up that lack of human capital that we need, again, it's all about perception change. So, and I'm sorry to just throw that question on you as well about perception and job site conditions.
Well, actually, before we came in here, we were having this discussion about the conception and how people interpret construction. And often, yes, it is seen as only bricklayers or muddy shoes or whatever, and often the conditions are like this. But I think technology is going there and it's helping and it's getting more widespread, and it's a slow process as any progress is slow. So we can expect for 1 year everything to change, or even for 5 years, but it is going there. And personally, I am optimistic on the matter.
We've got time for one more audience question, but don't forget, guys, you can ask on social media, or our panelists will be in the bar afterwards as well, so you can grab them there. Here we go.
Hi, I thought the film was really, really great. One of the things that we think about in the future when we're thinking about hiring students is, yes, we need to change perception of muddy boots on site, but also I think we need to influence their parents because they have the perception of their child, their precious son or daughter on these sites. So how do we go about changing their perception of the industry?
They all look really enthusiastic to answer that.
I can answer this question,
Go
if
for
that's
it.
fine. Okay, my parents, they're doctors, both of them. So for them, me joining construction was first weird. But after some consideration, they actually are super supportive because they see my enthusiasm, and when even they didn't have awareness of what is going inside the industry. And once I started gaining this knowledge and sharing it with them, they saw the importance. And I believe that engineering, construction, and medicine have a lot in common in terms of the importance they bring to the society.
Yes. As an institute, we are trying, and globally in Denmark, we're trying to, the minor schools, already there we're trying to do something about it, because when they have to choose where they're going to go, they need to know about the opportunities. And in lack of what we have just been told about the series and the suits and everything else, what they see in the programs, in the theaters, there's no construction. And that's why we're trying to put a mass commercial about what we can do, even though to be a worker and then work it up to be something in the industry. That's what they do as well. So the parents can be notified to what they're doing when they are in the meetings at the school, what they're going to plan for the kids.
Absolutely. And I also think that, so one of the things that I love so much about construction is that it does tend to be sort of generational or kind of a family business in a lot of cases. My father is in construction. I work with a lot of students who are second or third or even fourth generation builders. And I think that it's on those generational, those legacy members of the industry to spread the word among when they're at a picnic or when they're at a barbecue or when they're at family dinner, Christmas dinner, whatever, that they are, they're able to share that perspective and their own unique experience of being in the industry. And so maybe that's a little bit, flowery way to put it on it, that it could be sort of a social messaging method there. But I do think that existing members of the industry have almost a responsibility or a calling to change perceptions, among their community, among their neighbors.
Definitely, it's a really important point. I don't know if you guys are anything like me, but the view of your parents and their influence on you is huge. You listen to your mum and dad, what they tell you, and you listen to your teachers when you're at school, the teachers you respect, or older people in your life. They have a huge bearing on decisions that you make, particularly when it's a big decision about what kind of career you want to go into. So it's a really critical point. To end, and I haven't briefed the panelists on this because I want to get their kind of gut reactions. They look absolutely terrified now. Don't worry, guys, it's not being live streamed. I want to ask each of you, and I want to start with David. Why do you love construction?
thankfully it's not so difficult. The variety of jobs that you can do, yes, seeing things, you know, meeting my sister-in-law and realising that she, at the other end of the country, and realising that she lived 100 metres away from a bridge that I replaced 10 years ago was just cool. When I was 22, I got the opportunity to go and work in the Caribbean. I'm not sure how easy that would have been if I was working in another industry. So yeah.
I love to be in the industry of construction because it's what it grips. There comes a lot of opportunities. You go from drawings to planning to have people to do it and do it by yourself. So I've been done it since, my father was in the industry as well. So I'm still blowing sand out of my mouth because of being there all the time. But anyhow, I'm there because it's very nice and you see what it is and you can do it by your hand and you can do it yourself, but you can also share it with others and learn them to do it. That's why I'm a teacher today, because it's very nice to let them know how to do the work.
Oh, I love it because it matters and it's important and it's challenging and it's interesting and it can even be sexy sometimes, so you should consider it.
What an answer. How can I follow that? I think just to close, I love construction because it is ambitious, it is visionary, it is simultaneously ancient and modern. It is so vital to our everyday life. And I love the people who are in construction. I absolutely love them. So that's your answer.
What a phenomenal note to end on. Thank you so much, guys. This has been a flipping awesome panel. I've loved talking about this. And as I said, when I came back on stage, we're not bluffing with this. It's the world's greatest industry. We need amazing people. We need you. Don't go into other jobs. Come and work here. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's come along this evening. This documentary is going to be posted on YouTube at midday tomorrow, so please do like, comment, share, broadcast it to as many people as you can. If you've watched online, we really appreciate you being here. I want to say a massive thank you to our video partners, Bluebeam, for working with us on this, and also a huge thank you to David Milne from BAM, Bo Mass from Kia, Nia, and to Emily from Bluebeam as well. You've been a fantastic panel. I could literally sit here all night, but they won't let us do that. So thanks for coming, guys. It's been a fantastic show, and we'll speak to you soon. Thank you.